Even though all the states had ratified the Constitution, there was still a great deal of disagreement. Politicians split into two sides, Federalists and Anti-Federalists. Federalists, such as Alexander Hamilton, favored a strong central government. Their big issues included a central bank of the United States, a unified national debt, and a top-down economic system. Anti-Federalists, like Thomas Jefferson, preferred state and individual rights. The Anti-Federalists, who rebranded themselves as Democratic Republicans, succeeded in passing the Bill of Rights. One of the biggest challenges facing the new nation was foreign policy. Most Democratic Republicans thought the U.S. should side with France, their old ally from the Revolutionary War, while Federalists wanted to strengthen a trade relationship with England. George Washington, the first president, took neither side, declaring the U.S. to be a neutral nation, setting what he hoped would be a precedent. In 1801, government hater Thomas Jefferson became president and found it was hard to run a government without supporting government. Jefferson's most famous contribution was doubling the size of the nation with the Louisiana Purchase, an acquisition he opposed in principle but couldn't pass up. Trouble was brewing, however. Britain had been discovered capturing U.S. sailors. This was a violation of U.S. neutrality. These incidents fueled the fire of war hawks in Congress who were eager for a war. They launched the U.S. into the War of 1812. This war ended in a draw with no real change in power, but this could be considered a victory for the United States because they hadn't wanted to gain much to begin with. The period that followed is known as Antebellum because it's most notable for coming before the Civil War. There are three key facts about Antebellum. First, expansion. The U.S. was still determined to stretch itself from sea to shining sea, manifest destiny. Related to this was the Monroe Doctrine, when President James Monroe declared that colonization was over and Europe should get out of the Western Hemisphere. Second, technology. This was the time of building canals and railroads. It was also a time of flourishing art and literature. And finally, slavery. The South had always liked slavery more than the North, but now the North was working to abolish it outright. Both sides tried to reach an agreement. The Missouri Compromise set a no-slavery line, but that didn't work. The Kansas-Nebraska Act tried to turn the issue over to a vote, but that didn't work either. Every time the United States added a new state, the issue came up and tempers flared. The two sides were irreconcilable, and eventually the Southern states seceded, setting off the bloodiest war in American history.